Kiss me. Here we go. Foot down.
Don't wheel spin.
Oh, no.
God damn it.
It's a wet day, guys. It's struggling.
Here we go. Come on.
Okay, what do we get?
Seconds.
Yeah, these are
Oh, it's gotten angry at you for slapping it.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I did not expect this.
Dude, me neither.
So this is the Chery Omoda E5, and while you might just think this is a $46,000 Chery Omoda 5, it's actually really not. In fact,
it is a whole new car.
It honestly feels completely different to me. So this is based on the same platform as what you would find in a Chery Omoda 5. The combustion engine, we've reviewed the 1.5 litre turbo version of that, the GT, the 1.6 litre fast one. However, this one is fully electric and almost entirely different to drive. It's quite mind-boggling.
Yeah, with like a million changes under the skin as well.
So when I was going to pick this up, I was just thinking, why would you not just buy a BYD Atto 3 over this? Well, I'm here to say there are some reasons you might want to consider a Chery Omoda E5 over a BYD Atto 3, a car that we, Jacob and I, both really, really like, but this has surprised me in a lot of ways. So I'm going to tell you all about everything you need to know about this new Chinese electric car. So it starts at $42,990 before on-road costs, goes up to $45,990 for the top of the range EX that we have here. And already that's almost $2,000 cheaper than a BYD Atto 3 extended range. And interestingly, this has more range despite sharing the same battery. So yeah, there's a lot of little quirks between the two cars. So I'll tell you all about that today. First, we'll check out the exterior of the Chery Omoda E5. Then we'll move on to practicality, the interior. We will launch it, see just how fast it is from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. We are going to give it lots of sauce, see how it goes around our test route where we've taken the BYD Atto 3 a couple of times now. And then I'll give you my final thoughts. Should you buy a Chery Omoda E5? And is it RIP BYD Atto 3?
It might be.
Maybe. Now, if you want a full breakdown of everything that you get with the Chery Omoda E5, just Google CarSauce Chery Omoda E5 review, and in there we have a full written review which goes through everything you get as well. Let's talk about the way that this thing looks though, man, because from the front, it looks entirely different and I love it.
Dude, it looks 10 times better than the petrol Omoda 5.
Yeah, it really, really does. Especially from the front. The rear looks almost entirely the same. But for the first like 350 units, they're gonna come with the Omoda badging. They say it's for exclusivity. I reckon it's just because it's a it's a badging thing at the factory.
Well, we also saw it in China. They're all badged as Omodas instead of Cherries.
Yeah, exactly right. Anyway, yeah, I really like the way that this thing looks. You've got a very nice daytime running light here. You've also got very bright LED lights there as well, which is good to see. A completely plugged up front area, a 360 front camera there. You've got a open grille area there, which I thought might impact on its fuel efficiency, but actually at 15.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, it's quite an efficient EV.
Yeah, but on the freeway, you are running it closer to 17 kilowatt hours.
That is true. Here's another interesting fact. So this is your charging port. Annoyingly, you do have to come all the way around here, press a button. Ooh, happy to see you. Then
it pops open really quickly.
It does open up really quickly. And here you are going to find your charge ports. Now, generally speaking, I don't like when they're at the front, and that's because the most common accident is a fender bender where you run into the back of someone or someone runs into the back of you, and that will just damage your charge port. That will be quite expensive, I reckon. But here you have your AC and DC fast charging. So you have a 61 kilowatt hour LFP lithium iron phosphate, which is actually the same battery that you will find in a BYD Atto 3.
In fact, the exact same battery.
Because BYD are actually the biggest producer of LFP batteries in the world. And actually, Jacob and I, we have a full video coming out of our BYD battery factory tour, which we did in China like last week.
Yeah, we got to actually see how they make them.
Yeah, and they also exploded a competitor's battery, which is pretty cool. And the big benefit of LFP is that you could charge that battery up to 100% and it's not going to degrade like a regular lithium ion battery or an NMC battery. That will also apparently explode. I love that. Play that clip one more time, Himanshu. Oh my God. But weirdly, this has 80 kilowatt maximum fast charging, whereas a BYD Atto 3 has a maximum charging of 88 kilowatts.
Very interesting.
But honestly, it's like almost no different in real world. But cool nonetheless. Go away. Let's check out the side.
Let's do it.
All right, coming to the side. Actually, first of all, you have the world's smallest bit of aero here. I don't know.
You know what? Every bit counts, bro.
Apparently, it's got to be like, I don't know, an inch. So you have these 18-inch wheels. They've got some aero covers over them, and that actually does make them more aerodynamic. They're also wrapped in Kumo Extra tires. They're only 215 millimeters wide, so not very wide. And that means that with the amount of power that this thing has, which, by the way, it's got the same power as a BYD Atto 3, but 30 Newton meters more torque, you do feel quite a bit of torque steer.
Which is a bit of fun.
It is a bit of fun, actually. You have a 360 camera, a very, very good 360 camera. You've also got keyless entry and go. Got a really smart key where you put it in your pocket, you walk away, and it will lock itself, which I love. Walk up to it, car unlocks. You have tinted privacy glass. I don't know why Chinese car manufacturers do this, but you have faux carbon wrap.
Bro, why not?
You know what? F me. Okay, you got roof rails up here, and otherwise a very swoopy, coopy little SUV.
Very nice.
Now, in terms of dimensions, it's 4,424 millimeters long, which is 31 millimeters less long than a BYD Atto 3. It is 1,830 millimeters in width, which is 45 millimeters less wide than a BYD Atto 3. It is 1,588 millimeters tall, which is 37 millimeters shorter than a BYD Atto 3, and its wheelbase is 2,610 millimeters long, which is 110 millimeters less than a BYD Atto 3. And as you'll see, when we look at the second row and boot space, that is where the BYD Atto 3 definitely takes the cake. Jacob, let's check out the bum.
Let's do it.
So one of the things I noticed immediately with the Chery Omoda E5 is that versus a regular Chery Omoda 5, the petrol version, the wheel track is actually quite a lot further out than before. The body stays the same size, but the actual axle width is wider, and that makes a world of difference when you are driving this thing on the road. Let's talk about the bum though.
It looks the same.
It does look the same. You have a very aggressive spoiler up here with real aero. You've got a little ducktail spoiler there as well, which I think would look epic in black with this metallic white paint. Oh.
It's gotten angry at you for slapping it.
I don't know why it's done that, but anyway, good time to point out sequential indicators. You've also got this light bar here, but it's not a real light bar.
No, it's a fake light bar.
It just looks like one. You've also got the Omoda badge there, E5, so everyone knows you are electric, and no fake exhaust, which is very good to see. And this is quite funny. Jacob, you were driving behind me when I was driving this up today.
Wow, way to bloody driver shame me.
What was happening? What did you see?
I could see everything. You were bare. You were exposed.
Quite literally, it's quite funny. If you come under here, you can really see the whole multi-link suspension setup, which is unique for the Omoda E5. You can also see the battery kind of sticking out as a...
Like a sore thumb.
Just having a good time down there. Let's talk about the bum space.
Let's do it.
So, does the better suspension eat into its bum space? The answer is yes.
A little bit.
A little bit. So Chery measured the luggage space up to the cargo cover. You get 300 litres. I actually think it's a little bit better than that in person, but it's not much better. You might think there's some underfloor storage, but instead you get a full-size spare wheel. So I'm actually quite happy with that.
Very good to see.
That underfloor storage, piss off. You do have a flat loading area, a 12-volt socky wocky. How does it compare to a BYD Atto 3? Well, at least on paper, it is significantly worse. That has 430 litres of boot space, and it definitely does have more space in the back.
Yeah, it's like 50% more.
But I don't know if it feels 50% more. It just depends on where they measure their literage to be honest. It could be up here, it could be to the cargo cover, who knows. Drop the second row though, and you do get enough room. It's enough, probably like 1,200 litres, something like that. Jacob, let's check out the interior.
Let's do it.
Alrighty, friend. That was the funk.
That was pretty good.
I can tell you something for nothing, okay? Something for nothing. If you prefer a more traditional interior, more luxury feeling interior, I would go so far as to say, you're gonna prefer the interior of the Chery Omoda E5 over a BYD Atto 3, which I think definitely does do the techie, cool, hip side of things better. This though, it is really nice and actually better quite significantly than a regular Chery Omoda 5. There are a few reasons why. First of all, this whole center area here is completely different. They have moved the shifter up here. You now get like a column mounted thing.
That's clever.
And honestly, it works really well. It also means that they can put this faux wood here, which I actually quite like quite a lot, and heaps of storage space. So you pull this way, and then you have a fast 50-watt wireless charger with cooling, so your phone doesn't overheat. Fantastic. You've also got a couple of cup holders here. Open this up, get a little storage area that's very nicely felt lined. Open up this soft center armrest. You get a huge amount of room in there with an air vent as well, which is cool to see, and a massive open storage area here. Kind of annoying in that the USB-C and USB-A port are on the passenger side. It's just annoying to route a cable, but you get a 12-volt socky wocky on this side. Listen to this.
Oh, there's some ASMR right there.
Yeah, these are
The car loves to talk to you.
It does love to talk to you. These are all real metal buttons. It even is real metal here for the switches on the door panel. It just feels so nice. It's just weird to see that, honestly.
It's honestly amazing at this price point.
It really is. Here's a really weird thing about the Chery Omoda E5. It's got a feature where not only do you have your physical buttons here to move your mirrors, but you have another feature if you go into the menu where you can use the steering wheel to adjust them if you want to, like a Tesla.
So you can have your cake and eat it too.
It's just a strange double up there.
Very weird.
Other things that are different in here versus a regular Omoda 5 is the displays here. So they might look very similar on first glance, but the software on them is actually far better than it was before. So if you swipe up from the bottom, you get your air conditioning controls. It's actually quite easy to use. You have a heated steering wheel. You've also got heated front seats. Press a button, you can also turn on the rear seat heating, which is pretty cool to see in a car this price, that's for sure. Drag it down and you have a menu here of quick select. You do have a wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it's a really snappy, good display.
Yeah, and I actually don't mind that the climate controls are kind of in the screen because they're easy to access with just a swipe.
Exactly right. You can do that even from Apple CarPlay. Up in front of you, you get a digital instrument cluster. Again, it's just got a new skin to it. It's really easy to use. Press a button here and you go through a few different menus on the right-hand side.
But bro, do we still get streamer mode and fashion mode?
We don't. We don't
God damn
get
it.
streamer, fashion,
And gamer.
and gamer.
Oh, wait, no, was that?
I don't even remember. Whatever it was, we don't get those modes. You just get normal modes, which is it's probably for the best.
But you know what you still do get? Your bloody ring light.
Oh, we're talking about that. Yes, pull that down, open this, and you get a very bougie looking mirror, and you can change the warmth of the light.
That's the streamer mode right there.
That's just next level mode. You get a sunroof here, metal switch, crazy, but it's a very small sunroof. Thankfully, it doesn't have the annoying whistling noise that we found in the first Omoda 5 we ever reviewed. Good night. That's probably a bit dark. The other thing I've noticed is metal speaker grate. So you get the Sony sound system in here. It's a really good sound system. Here's my EQ. It sounds pretty damn awesome, to be honest. And it's real metal as well.
I love the design. It's kind of like a flower.
It is like, it's like a lotus flower. Pull down the window and you're gonna notice you get dual pane glass. So yeah, it's really quiet. You have acoustically treated glass. It's a weirdly quiet place to be. Again, especially for a car that costs $45,990 before on-road cost.
Yeah,
Sure.
for an EV, it's pretty bloody good.
That's really good. You've got ambient lighting in here that's a bit different. You've got this car with, I don't know if that's like a Chinese character or something, but it looks pretty cool. And you have some lighting up there, faux wood up on the dash, faux leather as well. Glove box, pretty decent size. Soft touch materials, absolutely everywhere. It's quite nice indeed. Big door bins there too. And then there are the seats. Now, the seats themselves are fine. They're a faux leather. They're relatively comfortable. The annoying thing is that I wish there was just a bit more leg support because it's not quite enough for my 5'11" frame, and I'm really not that tall, to be honest. But you get used to it.
Yeah, you can't really get like 100% comfortable. You can get like 90% comfortable.
Exactly right. And this seems to be with most Chinese cars. I just wish they had a bit more under thigh support, but otherwise, that's where my complaints end. Honestly, it's a really nice place to be. Genuinely surprised me. Didn't think I'd like it this much, but I do, and it feels quite a lot better than a regular Chery Omoda 5.
Yeah, it feels like they've leveled up in a pretty short time.
Yeah, honestly. All right, let's check out the back seats.
Let's do it.
Alrighty, let's talk about the
Ooh,
back seats. Yeah,
bit of a
it's quite
thunk.
nice thunk. This is all nice and soft. Ooh, look at the ambient lighting, metal grates.
Flower speakers.
Quite good. Definitely though, the BYD Atto 3 is just better for rear seat space. Now, again, I'm 5'11". You can see my legs are at quite a high angle because the battery is right under there. Even though, like I said, this does share the same technical platform as a regular Chery Omoda 5. It's actually a dual electric petrol platform, so it's quite modular. That means you get a completely flat loading floor, which is pretty cool. But it also means that the floor is actually slightly raised. And yeah, my legs are not at a great angle. I don't have a huge amount of leg room, but it's okay. And toe room as well is okay too. Headroom is very good because there's a big cutout in the roof. So yes, if you're looking for more space in the second row, the larger BYD Atto 3, it's got more space. Do love this. Pull down. Nice soft center armrest with a couple of cup holders. You get the same faux leather seats as up front. Annoyingly, you get a single air vent back here, which
Bit weird.
it's a bit
You gotta
weird.
share it.
You're gonna have to fight for who has the air vent, or you just be the middle passenger and have the best of the one world. You've also got a USB-A port, USB-C fast charger, and like I said, heated outboard seats. And listen to the tactility of this button, Jacob.
Oh my god, it's so clicky.
That's so strange, but at the same time, it's awesome. Also, should mention, map pockets here too. But of course, if you want the absolute best price on your next new car, just Google us, carsauce.com/buy. My team will get you the absolute best deals on your next new car. We have thousands of dealers who we literally make fight each other to get you the best price possible on your next new car. We can source cars from anywhere in Australia, and best of all, it is an entirely free service for you because we actually charge the dealers a fixed fee, so they're the losers in this situation. And because it's fixed fee, we also go in the hardest to get you the best price possible. So whether you want this, a Chery Omoda E5, or any new car, join our many, many happy customers. Just Google us, carsauce.com/buy. Jacob,
Let's bloody launch this thing.
let's launch it. Alrighty, friend, it's time to launch
The electric Omoda 5.
the E5. Fist me. Here we go. Foot down.
Don't wheel spin.
Oh no.
God damn it.
It's a wet day, guys. Come on.
Oh, it's still...
It's struggling.
Here we go. Come on.
Okay, what do we get?
8.14 seconds.
You know what? I'm gonna forgive it.
It's okay.
It's a wet day.
It's a wet day.
All right, Jacob, let's ride it. Alrighty, friend, driving the Chery
I like it.
Omoda E5. Let's put our foot down.
Rock the Casbah, bro.
Oh.
Oh. Too much rocking the Casbah, I think.
So let's talk about what this thing has under its skin, because it's a bit of a BYD.
It's a little bit of an Atto 3, isn't it?
Only in the sense of the battery. So it's using an LFP battery. It's 61 kilowatt hours. I believe the nominal or net is like 60.4 kilowatt hours, something like
About that, yeah.
And I have to say, I have been really impressed by this overall drivetrain.
I have to say, like, for Chinese EVs, usually the claimed consumption is a lot lower than the real world, and this has actually been very similar.
Yeah, so the claimed is like 15.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Around town, I was actually getting that. In fact, I was getting 15.4 kilowatt hours. So you will reach the WLTP claim of 430 kilometers if you're driving around town. On the highway, you're gonna be getting closer to this 17 mark, which will get you about 380 kilometers or so.
Which is pretty standard for an EV.
Pretty standard for an EV, exactly right. But actually, I'm quite enjoying the way that this thing drives, especially the power. 150 kilowatt of power,
It's decent.
340 newton meters of torque through to the front wheels. I will say, it's a bit of a hot hat because you put your foot down.
Oh, whoa. Oh my God.
I think this thing drives impressively well.
It's got good torque.
Now, you're gonna love this. Listen to this.
Oh.
Sport mode.
I feel so sporty already.
Yes, I love that. It's a very Chinese market thing to do. But you put your foot down, it's got...
Damn, it's got decent power delivery.
It really does, and it doesn't stop pulling even after you get to like 80 kilometers an hour. That seems to be a thing across a lot of EVs, is that they really start to die as you get higher in the speed range. And this will do the same thing, but, you know, not
And
as quickly.
How do you find the energy recovery? Like, do you keep it on low? I see you've got it on low now.
I've got it on low now. So you've got 3 levels, and you can see it on the screen down here. It says 1. If you put it in high, it goes to 3. I don't love it, to be honest.
Oh yeah, that's braking quite hard.
It is. It's not quite one pedal, and then you touch the accelerator, and it
Oh,
kind of
just-
kicks. It's not very refined in that way. So I keep it on low, and to be honest, that just seems to be the better way to do it. I also love how you can change the range between dynamic, which is what your actual range is, or you can just put on WLTC if you want to hide away
You can
from
just
that.
fool
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, so we have 190 kilometers, but no, we actually have closer to 166 kilometers. But honestly, man, I've been really enjoying this, and I didn't think I would. There's a few other things that it's got to its advantage over a regular Omoda 5. So one is that it's got multi-link suspension at the back, and you just kind of notice a bit more
A
firmness.
lot smoother. I think you don't get as much crashing going on in the rear.
Exactly right.
It's very, very good.
It actually has a very Euro feel to it, which I really was not expecting. It's also got a wider track width, so it's essentially just got more grip on the ground. And even though the tires are pretty narrow, and I think it could do with probably some wider tires for a bit of extra grip, I actually think this is one of the more competent, cheaper electric cars I've driven.
100% agree. And look, I don't think it drives as well as an MG4, but that is, you know, a smaller car. I will say, given the extra power, you would want that extra grip from the wider tracks. I'm happy it has that. I think it's, you know, for the Omoda range, it's between this and the GT. If you're going to get an Omoda 5, honestly.
Unless you really wanted to save some money, I do like, I think it's the new FX, which is their 27,990 drive away. Like, that's pretty cheap for any car. But if I was getting an Omoda 5, I'd either get it in the GT, it's front-wheel drive, or I would just get this.
Yeah.
All right, let's be here at
Saucy corner time.
Saucy little corner, tickle my little pickle. You're gonna see the wheel spin of this.
I'm scared.
Okay, I eat my words.
Did you plant it there?
I did. So,
Ooh. Oh, there you go. bit of power out.
Yeah, that was the traction cutting in. Okay.
Oh my God.
Hairpin numero duo.
That was really impressive for the second one, man.
It was better than I was expecting,
Very
I'm not gonna lie.
nimble.
And this is the whole point of this, is that I was kind of just expecting an Omoda 5, but electric. It doesn't actually feel like that. It feels almost like an entirely different car. I didn't mind the Omoda 5 at all. I thought it was great for its price, but I thought, wow, 45 grand for an Omoda 5, that's a lot of money. But actually, you are getting a very competent driving electric car.
100% built on an electric vehicle platform with a decent battery as well.
Yeah,
So,
exactly right.
not bad.
But yeah, they've really spent a lot of time here in Australia. I've been speaking to their development team. They have made it so much better at just hooking up in the lane and not really yanking you and pulling you like it did when it first came out, and that you'll see on pretty much all other competitors. I have to say, most Chinese cars at the moment are doing a terrible job, but you can even do things with this where you can turn down the volume. So the volume is so low, you can barely hear anything, which is a double-edged sword because, for example, I had my dog in the back and he triggers, because he's quite large, the seat chime.
Yes.
But I could almost not hear it. So
But it was driving your dog nuts.
honestly, it wasn't driving anyone nuts, and that makes me think, oh, there probably should be a sound there.
Maybe.
But anyway, you can just turn it all off, and I do love that.
That is good. I'm glad they've added that because, yeah, I agree that Chinese cars can be annoying with the safety stuff.
And by the way, we do have our driver monitoring system on. Have you heard it beep once?
No,
It's,
that's because you've been looking forward, my friend.
I just think it's a way better tuned than what it was.
True. It used to be like very, very sensitive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, with that, let's get into our final thoughts.
Let's do it. All right, bro. So is it RIP BYD Atto 3?
Honestly, it depends what you're looking for. First of all, it is a little bit cheaper than a BYD Atto 3. We are going to be reviewing the updated BYD Atto 3 with the new screen and better wheels, because that might make a difference. However, on paper, if you are looking for something a bit more traditional, then honestly, I would probably go for the Chery Omoda E5. On paper, it's got better range. It's got quite a Euro feel to the way it drives, definitely a stiffer suspension versus a BYD Atto 3. Where it really loses out though is its practicality. The rear seats and the boot space are quite a lot worse than a BYD Atto 3. If it were my money, personally, I would probably go for an MG4, and that's just because it is rear-wheel drive hatchback, and I prefer that. But if you're looking for a small SUV, I really recommend you drive both the Chery Omoda E5 and the BYD Atto 3, because at the end of the day, it's kind of going to come down to what kind of ride quality do you prefer? Something a bit more soft, something a bit more firm.
And something a bit unique on the inside versus something a bit more traditional.
Let us know what you guys think, though, about the Chery Omoda E5. Did it surprise you as much as it surprised us? Of course, if you want to buy one of these, or you want a BYD Atto 3, or any new car in Australia, and you want the best deals possible, totally free for you. Who the hell wouldn't want that? Just Google us, CarSauce buy. Jacob, ciao for now.
Bye-bye.